It is full speed ahead as a new railway connecting China and Laos begins operation. Leaders of both countries watched via video Friday's launch ceremony on what's called a historic project. Xu Xinchin has this report from Kunming, where the line begins in China.
This is the first ever commercial train running on the China and Laos Express Railway. It just set off from right here in Kunming for the Laos capital, Vientiane. And it's not just a train loaded with excited passengers, it is also a strong sign for closer ties between China and Laos, and of course, the success of the Belt and Road Initiative.
Over 700 passengers are on board the first train. The 1,035-kilometer long rail is the first cross-border line built entirely with Chinese technology and equipment. State leaders from China and Laos watched via video as the train moved away from the platform. Chinese President Xi Jinping congratulated the success of the Belt and Road project, reiterating the core of the initiative, creating a shared future for mankind. For his part, Lao President Tonglu Shishulet spoke of the opportunities that lie ahead for the landlocked country. The project has also been hailed a symbol of bilateral cooperation. China's homegrown tech powers the express trains, while more than $700 million worth of Laotian materials and supplies were used for construction. Laos says it's also created some 110,000 jobs. Apart from this, it's also expected to upgrade trade opportunities for Laos, as well as tourism. One charm of this route is it shows how humans and wildlife can coexist through the sceneries along its route.
My friends are excited and asked me to take many photos and videos to share with them.
This railway will bring more economic opportunities to both countries as well as tourism, which can mean more jobs.
The ambition for this specific route is to one day reach Thailand and Malaysia. Xu Xinchin, CGTN, Kunming.
We also spoke to some passengers and staff on board the first trains on this railway. So here's what they had to say.
I believe people in both countries will share the same thoughts. First, the railway has strengthened ties between the two countries. Second, about the cargo transport. The trip from Vientiane to the north is very dangerous. So the China-Laos Railway is a project about mutual connection and mutual communication between the two nations. It's very important. It's a point of pride for Laos and a point of pride for both countries.
It will make it easier for our students to study in China and observe China's development, which will inspire them to study abroad. Our students can promote cultural exchange between the two countries.
The biggest advantage is that it's very convenient to visit China, and it's also very convenient for Chinese people to visit Laos.
Well, for more, let's bring in reporter Stephen Cleary, who's joining us live from the Laotian capital. So what are they saying there about this new train?
Okay, yes. So the reception of the new train has been quite significant. The public and private media, and of course on social media. And so yesterday, with the first train leaving the station with the Prime Minister, Pang Kam, and you're joined by diplomatic corps and media, attracted a lot of attention across the country.
Very exciting project. We'll leave it there. Stephen Cleary live for us in Laos. Thank you. Well, this new railway opens as the two neighbors mark 60 years of diplomatic ties. Our next report looks at what led to this $8.7 billion project.
A massive undertaking and a true inter-country partnership. Expectations on the over 1,000-kilometer electrified passenger and cargo railway are running high. 414 kilometers of the track runs through Laos's Bolton border gate with China, and all the way south to the national capital, Vientiane.
The China-Laos Railway will make transportation more convenient here. My hometown is in Wanrong County, which takes 3 to 4 hours to travel from Vientiane. But now you only need 1 hour, which is faster and safer. We also eat Chinese food in Laos, and the experience should be even better when we can go to China to eat Chinese food once the railroad is opened.
As a landlocked country with complicated terrain, Laos has lagged behind in building its transportation network, which has largely hindered its economic development. The prohibitive cost of transport have meant prices of goods are high as well. This is all set to change when the new railway starts running.
I have a business. When the railroad opens, the prices will become lower for both Chinese goods coming to Laos and Lao goods going to China.
ปัจจุบันประเทศจีนได้กลายเป็นคู่ค้าใหญ่อันดับสอง
China, Laos, as well as regional countries, will certainly get more development opportunities from it. The railway will bring more job opportunities to the Lao people, increase their income and improve their livelihood. From a national perspective, the China-Laos Railway has not only realised the beautiful vision of the two countries' joint construction of the Belt and Road, but also brought benefits to the people of the two countries and other countries along the route.
รวมทั้งภาคพื้นแม้นจะได้รับผลประโยชน์เช่นเดียวกัน
A World Bank report says the railway will boost Laos's economic indicators. Aggregate income in Laos is expected to increase by up to 21% over the long term. And by 2030, the transit trade through Laos along the railway corridor could reach an estimated 3.9 million tons per year. It will significantly reduce land transport prices by up to 50% between Vientiane and the capital city of southern China's Yunnan province, Kunming. Passenger traffic is set to rise by tens of millions, giving a huge boost to Laos's tourism.
นักท่องเที่ยวจีนเป็นส่วนประกอบสำคัญของบรรดานักท่องเที่ยวที่เข้ามาเที่ยวสปปลาว
We hope to attract more Chinese tourists to Laos. The opening of the China-Laos Railway will greatly facilitate transportation between the two countries, create conditions for attracting more tourists, and promote local, social, and economic development. We have plans to improve tourism infrastructure and improve tourist services, including simplifying the process for tourist visas and customs clearance. This is to attract more Chinese tourists to experience the natural scenery and customs of Laos.
อย่างยิ่งว่าจะดึงดูดนักท่องเที่ยวจีนเข้ามาเที่ยว
Being the flagship project of the China-Laos Economic Corridor, the China-Laos Railway is the first cross-border railway that's funded and constructed by China since the proposal of the Belt and Road Initiative back in 2013. The two neighbors have decades of trade exchanges. Commodities exported from China are automobiles, textiles, communication equipment, and electronics. Laos provides China with raw materials, including copper, wood, and agricultural products. Trade and investment between the two countries have grown more rapidly in recent years. In the first half of 2021, two-way trade reached over $2 billion, a year-on-year increase of more than 48%. China is the largest source of investments in Laos, with Chinese companies engaged in the country's mining, hydropower, agricultural, and drug manufacturing industries since the 1990s. The construction of this new railway does not only physically bring the two countries closer, but also expands their economic ties.
The delivery of the Lantong Railway is of great significance to both China and Laos. It shows that the cooperation between the two countries is deepening, especially in socio-economic trade and investment.
The railway will further connect Laos to the vast Belt and Road network, transforming it from a landlocked to a land-linked economy.
This project is the first step to link the China-Laos Railway and the China-Thailand Railway. It will further connect with the Malaysia-Singapore Railroad network in the south, while to the north, it will connect with the China-Europe Railway, which is already in operation. In this way, the China-Laos Railway can truly cross mountains and rivers to reach the sea. This will enable Laos to transform its shortcomings as a landlocked country into an advantage as a hub for north-south transportation.
The China-Laos Railway is significant, not just to bilateral ties, but also heralds Laos's rise as a strategic partner in the development of the logistics, energy, and agricultural sectors of the booming Southeast Asian region. Gao Yiming, CGTN.
Let's talk about this mega project with Rong Ying via Skype. He's in Beijing and the Vice President of the China Institute of International Studies. Good to have you with us on the show. So, quick question for you. It's a big one. How big of a deal is this railway?
Well, it is indeed, I think, a game changer for both China southeast part of Yunnan, the southernmost part of Yunnan, and also I think Laos. And we have seen that going to make significant changes, impact for the economic and social development, particularly in the area of tourism, agriculture, and also the social and economic development as a whole.
We've been watching passenger trains, the giant green beast, I've been heard it called there, go on our screen here, connecting these two countries here. I'm assuming freight trains will travel as well. Which industry do you think this will benefit most, tourism or trade?
I think both. Certainly, I think given the readiness and the rich endowment of tourism, both in the Yunnan and Laos, I would say the first sort of sector that are going to benefit from this railway is certainly tourism. As we have seen that a lot of tourist operators are planning despite the COVID-19, and also there's a huge interest for, I think, visiting these regions. Now with the opening of these railways and cutting short of the travel times, definitely I think a big boost for tourism for Laos and also for Yunnan. And agriculture and other areas certainly will benefit, but it will come later.
Well, let's talk about the short term then, the benefits there. You mentioned tourism, obviously a big winner here, even with the borders largely closed. Why do you think that still applies?
Well, yeah, I think that the pandemic certainly has devastating a lot, caused a lot of disruption, but I think it would be going away sooner and later with the joint efforts, by the, I think, certainly of China and Laos and the region as a whole. Well, I'm talking about the potential, I'm talking about the reality, I'm not talking about availability of that. So once the pandemic is under control, once I think the business, I mean the tourism business community is ready, and so there will be flood of tourists. And I myself and a lot of my friends are planning and thinking of taking the ride of this railways, which is very attractive and impressed, also in both in terms of scenery and engineering.
So you're ready to book your ticket on this new railway here. Well,
exactly.
Well, I know this is also a major part of China's Belt and Road Program initiative, particularly in Southeast Asia. There's plans for this rail line to extend beyond Laos to Thailand, Malaysia. Talk about those plans, just how feasible are they, and where are we in that process?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of talks and plannings about building, kind of a pan-Asian rail lines. And there are, and literally, I think we're talking about 3 sort of branches. The central part, which is now what we have had, the China and Laos railways, and it is extended to Thailand, to Bangkok, and further. And there were other in the sort of a left part and the right part, which is crossing, both crossing the Vietnam and Myanmar. And there are a lot of talks and plannings and visions, but unfortunately it's going on not so fast. I guess with the launching of the China-Laos railways, now we have a big impetus and certainly a big driver for along this line. So we are again very hopeful. And I think there are a lot of optimism that if after the launching of the railways, and if China, Laos, and Thailand can work out the details, then we're going to see more constructions, more railway lines, and in the end, I think the dream that connecting of the Pan-Asian railway will come be realized as the China-Laos railway.
And help us understand that vision, that dream of a pan-Asian railway you described there. Why is that necessary?
Well, that is not necessary. I think it is imperative, because you look at the sort of the potential and the momentum of the growth, of the reality of the development, both in China, in the Southeast Asia, and if we look again beyond to the Eurasia, all these areas are undergoing dramatic changes, development, huge potentials. How these potentials are going to be realized? This is, of course, we need better connectivity, we need effective logistics, we need more roads, and most importantly, I think we need railways. Take the example of Laos. For Laos, I think even during the colonial times, there were plannings of building railways, highways, so that the Laos landlockedness could be changed from a disadvantage to the advantages. And ever since liberation, ever since the decolonization, Laos has tried their best of making the connectivity, making the transformation, improvement of transportation as a high priority. Unfortunately, it's not been so successful. So with BRI, with the joint effort by Laos and China, and now we have that railway. I think there are more going to be coming if the details work out, the difficulties overcome. More importantly, the spirit of China-Laos railways and the BRI is being carried forward.
Well, what are some of the challenges that these countries face as they try to expand this railway? I mean, we've heard from workers talk about this project just connecting Laos and China. It's difficult terrain, it's expensive, it's a lot of tunnel digging, it's protected areas in some cases. So what are the challenges in trying to build this Pan-Asian railway?
Yeah, I think the challenges, the issues raised about the difficulties in engineering, the difficult terrains, and also about the financings, other things, protection of environment, and how to ensure the benefits of the, I think this project will be equally or fairly distributed so that the livelihood of the people along the line and the regional input are all there. And these, I think, are not just limited to huge sort of mega projects like that. But the most important thing, I think, as far as I can see, is political willingness and the demonstration effect of this project is possible. So now, within 5 years, and we are able to do that by overcoming these difficulties. This is, I think, the kind of inflection point, or this is a kind of sort of project that's going to change the mindset, to change the game. I'm very much hopeful. I think with this launching of China-Laos railways, I think we can work together as long as we can work together as long carry on this spirit. So the vision has to be worked out. Dream will finally come true.
It is certainly a significant moment, this multi-billion-dollar railway connecting China and Laos. Rong Ying with the China Institute of International Studies. Thanks for the chat. Good to have you with us.